Hi, and welcome to the first edition of AHA, the coaching show. Now, this is a show all about coaching. Now, together with our partners, the Malaysian Association of Certified Coaches, Corporate Coaching Academy, and Talent Search International, every week we will share insights into coaching and the different aspects of coaching and how we benefit as individuals and organizations. In addition, we will enable the audience in future shows to participate in the show with questions to ask and issues to be addressed. Now, every week we will have different coaches on board to speak and share in their various areas of coaching. Now, with me today is my co-host, Michael Hia. He's the chairman of MACC and the CEO of CCA. He's also the founding president of the International Coaching Federation's Malaysian chapter. In short, he's really popularly regarded as the father of coaching. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Now, Mike, this is the first show. So what we're going to be doing today is really giving everyone an overview of coaching and the coaching ecosystem in Malaysia. Could you start to give us some insights into the history around coaching in Malaysia?
All right. Thanks for that, Brian. Coaching has been in Malaysia for about, officially, the ICF brand of coaching, which I referred to, because the ICF brand of coaching represents the professional side of coaching. And that came into Malaysia something like 21 years ago. And I brought that brand of coaching, the ICF brand of coaching, into Malaysia at a time when coaching was not known at all in this country. And of course, over the 21 years, things have grown, evolved, expanded so much. I set myself a vision when I got into coaching 21 years ago, and it is actually, and it still is, building a vibrant coaching community in Malaysia. And this vibrant coaching community in Malaysia actually has grown a lot. Just to give you some statistics around how coaching has grown, there are maybe about 1,000 coaches right now in Malaysia, both ICF ones and non-ICF ones. There are 10 coaching schools in Malaysia, and coming to people who embrace coaching, who take on coaching, that covers commercial organization, non-commercial organizations, NGOs, you name it. People are kind of like into coaching and believe on the power of coaching. Also, so therefore, the vibrant community or vibrant coaching community in Malaysia has really not only taken shape, and I think it has actually gained a lot of traction. With more and more people actually believing in coaching and getting in coaching. And I think the growth of coaching in Malaysia is at least about 10%, yearly, with more and more people getting on board. And also, of course, clients, looking out for coaches, clients who get into coaching themselves, because they also want to be coaches, both professional coaches and also in-house coaches. So that's the landscape, Brian, on how actually coaching has evolved over the last 21 years.
And Mike, it's really interesting because you think back at 21 years ago, and I'm old enough to remember, I thought it was something very fuzzy. But the reality is, even Jack Welch, the legendary CEO of General Electric, what people didn't realize when he was writing all of those management books and giving talks around the world, he actually had an executive coach as well at that time. So really, the awareness of coaching has been fundamental in the US at the very highest level for many, many years. But in Malaysia, it's only really taken shape. Perhaps, would you agree with me, probably in the last 10 years only?
Yeah, in terms of actual traction, in terms of really picking up the last 10 years, yes, a lot has taken place, over the last 10 years. And more so even in the last 3 years or 4 years, because of the pandemic. So that actually created even a greater demand for coaches, simply because the environment has become more challenging, more tough, and people just need someone, a soulmate, a trusted friend, a professional to work with. or so that they can actually deal with all those challenges and all those things that are right now happening in the world. Yeah, and the last 10 years have seen a much more faster growth than the previous 10 years.
Now, Mike, one of the key things also, and maybe we need to take a step back and do a 101 on coaching, because give us a primer on the different types of coaching. We tend to think of coaching really as executive coaching, but it's a lot more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of niches, big broad niches, there are about 5 niches, okay, and of course there are subsets to the 5. The primary 5 niches of coaching are life coaching, that's one big one, executive or leadership coaching, we call that. Business coaching is the other one, sales coaching is the other one, and organizational coaching is the other one. And in each of these 5 niches, there are subsets. Like, for instance, in life coaching, it will cover things like, relationship. It will cover things like, higher purpose. It will cover things like spiritual. It will cover, leading a meaningful life and all that. So that can come under the life. In executive coaching, it will come into things like succession planning, getting people ready for promotion, dealing with workplace challenges, and the like. And the same thing goes with business coaching and sales coaching. So, and in actual fact, anyone can call themselves a coach and put a name to themselves, based on an expertise that they have. So
And
there's
this is also a challenge,
regulation.
Mike, and I want to stop you here. You've got a very good point. Anyone can call themselves a coach. So the key thing for me, if I want some coaching, is what is a validation or certification to sort of distinguish the fly-by-night coach from a properly certified coach. So I would think that, for example, the Malaysian Association of Certified Coaches or the International Coaching Federation, those sort of certifications are perhaps some sort of validation of quality.
Yeah, definitely so. And add on to that, there's also another one known as the International Association of Coaching as well, the IAC. So these are all accreditation bodies that serious-minded coaches who really want to grow themselves and really want to add value and do real work in coaching. They are usually part of one of those international bodies. ICF seems to stand out because ICF is the leader of coaching, and they are by far, the most credible what you call coaching association, because of the standards that they have laid for coaches to go through, the ethical practices, the assessments, the whatnot. You know what I mean? So anyone that comes from a good body like ICF or IAC, they would have gone through at least about 60 to 100 hours of coaching. So that would have given them the kind of skills to be able to coach. And that would actually what they call, in a way, make the public become more discerning, where they will know like what is a coach, what is a good coach, a bona fide coach, and one that is self-claimed who call themselves that. So that's one of those key differentiator between a solid coach that comes from a solid body like ICF or IAC, and those that who don't belong to any. And I must say that the last 10 years I've seen many of those self-claimed coaches, because the pressure is on them, because the audience is becoming, the people are becoming more discerning. They know what's a coach and what's not a coach. So that has actually kind of like forces many of the self-claimed coaches to actually go for a proper certification so that they can actually be among the true blue coaches, as opposed to operating under no banner, and who just call themselves a self, whatever coach, the kind of name they don't want to give themselves. But the public will eventually know, that these are the guys that would not be able to provide the kind of value like what the other coaches from the other reputable coaching bodies can actually provide them.
Okay, Mike, one of the key things also then, if I'm a C-suite and I want to, and I'm listening to someone who's proposing that I take up some coaching, not only for myself personally, but for my organization, whether it's different teams, my head of departments, or even down to some of the middle management. What are some of the key benefits of coaching, not only for the individual, but really for the organization?
Thanks very much for that question. There are a couple of good benefits that comes along with coaching. I think among everything, there's so many that I will mention to you. The one that is really at the forefront is the ability of coaches to raise the self-awareness of people, which equals to broadening their mindset, stretching the mind to see more, getting out of comfort zone, seeing better value, seeing better opportunities outside there. Something that this show is called AHA, Coaching Show, and AHA actually represents that self-awareness, which is the pinnacle of what coaching can do for people, the self-awareness. So that's one. The other benefit of coaching is the mirror. The coach acting as a mirror to someone. It's like someone looking in. We can't see a lot of things by ourselves, we need someone out there who can see more about ourselves than we can see for ourselves. And coaches play a very good role here, where they are very good observer. They observe very well, and they give very solid feedback, constructive one, of course, that will actually, changes the whole paradigm of people and the way they look at things. So that's the second benefit of coaching. The third benefit of coaching, of course, is because of these two, people then can attain what's the word for it? They will be able to unleash their potential, because there's someone down there who believes in them, someone there who endorses them, someone there that helps them with the awareness that they didn't have earlier, and all these things that they do actually help someone actually to grow and to excel. And that's why coaching in organization is a very, very big thing. It teaches leaders, especially, not only to lead people, but how to grow people in a very systematic and a proper way. And that accelerates performance, that accelerates result, and organization becomes better than what they are when they have coaches working with them. So these are some of the benefits that I can very quickly think of, why coaching is important, and why people should be coaches, and also why clients and organizations should invest in getting coaches into the organization.
Okay, Mike, could you share some key success stories, perhaps, of companies that have used coachings and have benefited for it, either by impact to bottom line, impact to top line, or perhaps impact then to organizational behavior and morale?
All right, thanks for that question. I really wanted to say a little bit more about how organizations have actually gained from coaching. In my 21 years, I have coached and been with so many organizations. And when you ask me the question, the first thing that came to my mind is Prudential. So Prudential is one of those very, very solid company, and it actually has got a motto in Prudential, and it's called always listening, always understanding. That tagline that has taken Prudential to many rounds of success, really talk about coaching, and they really believe in coaching and believe that their insurance agents, their agency leaders, and all of those people who are in the front line, they actually use coaching for sales. They use coaching to develop their agents and so forth. So Prudential, some 10 years ago, actually embarked on a very aggressive plan to actually certify almost all the agency leaders across the country to become coaches. So many of the agency leaders that you see today, there's a high chance that they are actually an ICF coach. And at that time, 10 years ago, Prudential always wanted to hit that $1 billion mark in their turnover. And during that 10 years, when all these things were going on with coaching and all that, they actually became the first billion-dollar insurance organization in Malaysia, and which was really a proud moment. So this is one organization I can think of. Maybank is the other one that also is pretty aggressive in coaching. Petronas is also very aggressive in coaching. They are also doing a lot in terms of grooming coaches within the organization. So they have lots of in-house coaches in Maybank and also Prudential and a few other banks as well. And I believe their performance speaks for itself. And definitely the coaching culture is there that help to bring people together, work together, and of course a culture that grows people well. And I think they have done all those kind of stuff with coaching, in there. And I think these are organizations that I believe can quite easily differentiate themselves with other organizations that try to grow themselves without having the support of coaches in the organization.
Now, Mike, those are really powerful because they're very large organizations, they're global organizations, as well as, two Fortune 500 companies, Petronas and Prudential, and also one very large company, in fact, on the index of the Stock Exchange of Malaysia. But can I ask you this, Mike, because coaching is not just for the very large companies, but it's also for smaller SMEs who would really benefit from coaching. What are the costs like to engage a coach?
All right. There are different grades of coaches, just like there are different grades of anything for that matter. Even in restaurants, you also have, the lower grade, the middle grade, and the higher grade. So coaches are also classified under 3 categories. The associate coaches is the first level of coaches. The professional coaches are the second level of coaches, and the master coaches are the highest grade of coaches. In terms of there's no rule that says that associate coach must be paid this amount and that amount. There are no laws around that. It's not so regulated like many others. But there is some kind of an understanding out in the marketplace where there's some kind of rates that we place on these 3 levels of coaches. Usually for the associate coaches, an associate coach, they are paid something like 1,000 ringgit for a per session thing for 1.5 hours, around that, 800 to 1,000. For the professional bid coaches, they are paid around like $2,000 to 2,500. And then for the professional coaches, they are anything between 3,000 and above. So these are some of those rates that are out in the marketplace.
Okay.
But of course, there are also coaches who are non-ICF coaches. They are paid much lesser. So I think you can get a coach, for an SME, for about 600 ringgit for a per session, for a per session of 1.5 hours.
Okay.
So it's quite affordable, for this organization as well.
Now, Mike, one of the key things is we in Malaysia are blessed. We have, for better or for worse, well, I say blessed because 1% of payroll has to go to a fund called HRDF. Yep. And therefore, that provides a pool of money for employees to be trained. Now, is coaching claimable under HRDF?
Yes, it is. Some 3 years ago, the government has recognized coaching, very seriously. So now you can actually claim for programs in coaching as well as coaching services. They all can be claimed under HRDF, and that actually has boosted the growth of coaching a lot because organizations can use their money in both ways for training and now also for coaching.
Mike, it's been a fascinating conversation, and it's a really great introduction to coaching on the AHA Coaching Show. Now, before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
Well, I would say that everyone will need a coach. whether you call him a coach or whether you call him a friend. I mean, we live in a world where we can't, do things on our own anymore. When we have someone, no matter how, successful we are, no matter how happy we are, there will always be a place for a coach that can make life better. So everyone should have a coach, and I think everyone should be a coach in some way, because after all, coaching is all about connecting with people, seeing things from from outside looking in, and of course the other thing is, instead of telling people what to do, how do you draw the inner strength of people and help them to make their own discovery. I think all these are good stuff that everyone will need, whether to be a coach or to get a coach. So this is some of those things that I like to leave behind before the end of the show with you, Brian.
Mike, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I look forward to working with you for the other parts of the show as time goes by.
That's it for this week's AHA, the coaching show. We've been speaking to Michael Hia, the chairman of MECC and the CEO of CCA. He's also the founding president of the International Coaching Federation's Malaysia chapter. Now, on BizTech's AHA show, which is produced in partnership with the Malaysian Association of Certified Coaches and the Corporate Coach Academy and Talent Search International. I'm Brian Fernandez. This show will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks for tuning in.